Hi, I'm John. I mean, State Line, it started in my mind as this idea of how do you celebrate kind of the rich agricultural history of the state. And so when we were or when I was in the planning purposes or starting to plan for the distillery, and thinking about being a grain to glass distillery and what does that mean, the name State Line just kind of kept coming up as this concept of saying, how do we integrate the grains that are grown within the state lines? How do we use botanicals that are found, as close to the community as possible? So that idea became kind of part of our mission statement, part of our ethos. And that's really the concept of State Line. The building that you're standing in this space, this really came out of this idea that I wanted to bring people into the space where their spirits were made. I think having transparency about everything we do is really important, and the way you do that is by plunking a distillery right down on the isthmus and saying, come enjoy the spirits here, come walk in the back and touch the grain that we use, come see and smell what a distillery is really like. And so all of those things encompass this idea of what State Line is and how we can integrate within the community in which we live and work. First, my dad was born and raised in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so I've always essentially felt like a Wisconsinite. That was trapped in Minnesota. Grew up a Packer fan in the whole 9 yards. And I moved to Madison in 2008 and thought I'd be here 2 or 3 years. I really had only visited Madison once, and it's just one of those places that it grows on you and gets under your skin in a really good way. And so I just fully fell in love with kind of the culture, the biking, the fact that the art scene is strong here in terms of that piece of the culture, which really resonates with me. And so, 2008 turned into 2012, which then I moved to Scotland, and then when I was kind of thinking about where did I want to start State Line, Madison just seemed to be the perfect fit. It's the type of place that people get really connected to businesses that are community oriented, and I felt like what I was trying to create was going to fit really well with kind of the culture and the people that live here. I think when you sit down and raise a glass with someone and start sipping on a spirit and enjoying a spirit, there's a connection that's formed, and it's one of those things where you're both, there's multi-layers of connection and happening. So it kind of seems to me most of the time when I'm sitting around enjoying a spirit, we're often telling stories, we're often talking with one another, and inevitably the spirits themselves will work their way into the conversation. If we're sipping on a beautiful Islay Scotch and you start talking about the campfire smoke, the peatiness that comes through that, I just find that it's a bridge. It connects people in a lot of different ways. The idea of Madison Story Slam at State Line, I love the honesty of it. I guess maybe it comes back to this idea about being transparent. So someone standing up in front of a group of people, whether it's strangers or even your friends, and telling an intimate detail is bringing them into a secret. It's bringing them into a magical place in your life. And when somebody can tell a really good story, it's amazing. You know, in this space especially, it gets dark and there's this glow of the ambient kind of warmth from the lights, and it just pulls you in. And so, you know, when I was thinking about, you know, this partnership, it just fit. I mean, in terms of what we're trying to do here and create this intimate experience, it's exactly, in my mind, kind of what you're seeing from the Madison Story Slam. You know, you mentioned I'm from Minnesota, and so I have a lot of connections to that city. I could certainly see us making a push into that market at some point to just get back to my roots in some way. I specifically didn't open State Line in the middle of a farm outside of town because I wanted to interact with people. I wanted to have an opportunity to have an event like Madison Story Slam here, and those kind of opportunities, yeah, they fill me up, and I love that feeling, and I want to be part of that for someone else too.